Tragedy, it seems, runs in the family. Bruce Lee was a movie star who died young and became a legend. Now his son Brandon is gone as well, fatally wounded while starring in a movie.
Chuck Norris just dropped a bombshell that's shaking the martial arts world to its core. What if Brandon Lee's death wasn't just a tragic mishap, but a shadowy plot that's been hidden until now?
The main reason, Bruce was really ahead of his time. So he called me up and said, I want to do a movie with a fight scene that everyone will remember. Well, do I have to lose? He says, yeah, you have to lose. And he said, no, we'll make this a seesaw battle.
In 1967, at a karate championship, Norris's victory was overshadowed by Lee's undeniable prowess, marking the beginning of a deep and complex friendship. What secrets has Norris now decided to expose that could rewrite the narrative of Lee's untimely demise? Let's delve into the darkness and truths of this legendary saga. The unseen trials of martial arts legends. Their friendship, born from mutual respect and a love of martial arts, now provides the backdrop for a revelation that could challenge everything we thought we knew about Lee's death. As we uncover this story, what shocking truths will come to light about the pressures and dangers faced by martial arts legends off the screen? Before long, they were training together regularly in Bruce's backyard. Always eager to learn, he was inspired by Norris to try high kicks, a move he hadn't focused on before. Norris showed him how effective high kicks could be, and Bruce quickly mastered them, making them a key part of his martial arts style. In just 6 months, his high kicks became incredibly accurate and powerful. Norris, on the other hand, was deeply influenced by his incredible speed, strong strikes, and the philosophy of Jeet Kune Do, which Bruce created. This style focused on being adaptable and fluid, rather than sticking to rigid martial arts rules. It's known as the way of the intercepting fist. His humility and willingness to teach left a strong impression on Norris, inspiring him to improve his own skills.
And I worked out with Bruce Lee, and I worked out for 3 years. That's when I held the world title. And then he went to Hong Kong to pursue his movie career, did a couple of movies, very successful. So he called me up and said, I want to do a movie with a fight scene that everyone will remember, called Return of the Dragon. He said, will you come over and do the fight scene with me?
Their friendship grew stronger over the years. In 1972, when Bruce became a huge star in Hong Kong, he reached out to Norris with an exciting idea. He wanted Norris to be his on-screen opponent in a groundbreaking fight scene for his upcoming film. This thrilled Norris, as it was a chance to do something new and work closely with his good friend in a high-energy, creative project. But this wasn't the most surprising part. As we dig deeper into Norris's recent revelations, we uncover even more layers of their friendship and how it shaped their personal and professional lives. Their strong connection not only influenced each other, but also left a lasting impact on the world of martial arts. Chuck talked about his deep friendship with Bruce and the Lee family during a martial arts demonstration. He was well aware of Bruce's health challenges and his intense workout routines. There was a time when Bruce tried to lift too much weight and ended up in the hospital for 3 weeks with a serious back injury. A doctor even told him that he might never walk again, but Bruce was always pushing himself too hard in the gym, trying to build muscle as if it were his main focus. Back in 1968, Bruce seriously hurt his back during a weightlifting exercise called Good Mornings, where you bend forward with a heavy weight on your back. He injured a spinal disc so badly that he was completely sidelined. The doctors didn't think he would walk normally again, but he was incredibly determined. He ignored their advice to rest and jumped back into his tough training routines. Chuck noted that Bruce just couldn't take it easy or give his body a break. But that wasn't even the most surprising part. Bruce also had an unusually fast metabolism and was always trying to gain weight by eating lots of protein, vitamins, and some strange supplements like ginseng and royal jelly. Chuck thought he was relying too much on these for energy.
And he tried to lift too heavy weights, and he ruptured the disc in his back, and he was laid up in the hospital for 3 weeks. In fact, the doctors said that they didn't know if he'd be able to walk again or not.
Bruce was also obsessed with detoxing his body, drinking about 10 liters of water every day. He took the advice to stay hydrated to an extreme level. In 1973, Bruce was in Hong Kong, getting ready for his new movie, Game of Death. He was working closely with actress Betty Ting Pei, who was rumored to be more than just a co-star. But this wasn't the most shocking part of his life. Bruce had a really bad headache, so Betty gave him one of her prescription painkillers. He didn't know that this medicine had aspirin in it. Unfortunately, he was allergic to aspirin, and when mixed with his other medicines, supplements, and too much water, it caused a serious reaction in his body. His close friend Chuck thought that this reaction made his brain swell a lot, a condition known as cerebral edema. This is when the brain swells so much that blood and oxygen can't reach it properly. When this happens, brain cells get damaged, and if not treated quickly, it can be fatal. There are many things that can cause this kind of swelling, like injuries, drug overdoses, and more. Chuck thought he knew the truth, but there's more to the story. The conspiracy against Bruce Lee. Chuck remembers that after Bruce took the pill, he simply went to lie down on Betty's bed, but tragically never woke up. The swelling in his brain turned out to be deadly. This is what Chuck, who knew him well, believes happened. But not everyone agrees with Chuck's story. There are other ideas about why he died so suddenly, including theories that the Hong Kong mob poisoned him or that it was because of a family curse. But these weren't the only possible explanations. Some people think his death wasn't an accident or a health issue at all. They believe it was a planned attack by the Triads, a dangerous criminal group in Hong Kong at the time. The big question is, why would the Triads want to eliminate him? There were a few reasons why they might have seen him as a threat. He was changing how Chinese martial arts were shown in movies, leaving behind the traditional ways and creating his style called Jeet Kune Do. This new approach upset some older martial arts masters in Hong Kong who were connected to the Triads and thought he was disrespecting their traditions. Another reason the Triads might have targeted him was money. He was making a lot of money from his successful movies, and there were rumors that the Triads wanted a piece of his wealth. When he refused to give in to their demands, he might have become a target. There was also talk that he had a relationship with a famous actress, Betty Ting Pei, who was linked to the Triads.
When he was in Hong Kong preparing for his next movie, he was working with a girl named Betty, and who was going to co-star with him, and he got a severe headache. So Betty gave him some antibiotics for the headache, and with the medication he had taken for his back and the medication he had taken for his headache, they reacted to each other and made his brain swell up, and it created an aneurysm or ruptured blood cells in his brain.
Some people believe that this relationship could have made certain individuals jealous or angry. But this isn't where the speculation ends. A popular belief is that if the Triads did plan his death, they might have used an ancient martial arts technique known as the dim mak, or death touch. This move involves hitting specific pressure points to cause internal damage or even paralyze someone completely. Some think that the Triads could have forced or hired someone from his past, maybe a former student or rival skilled in dim mak, to use this deadly move on him. Maybe they used poison or drugs to weaken him, making him an easier target. There's some evidence to back this up. In the days leading up to his death, he received several threats, most likely from criminal gangs. After his death, strange bruises and needle marks were found on his body, which are often linked to certain notorious elements. To make matters worse, his close friends and associates also faced mysterious deaths, almost as if someone was trying to cover up anything related to his passing. This theory about his sudden death at just 32 years old is certainly attention-grabbing. Have you ever heard about the so-called Kennedy curse? The Lee family seemed to be plagued by a similar curse that followed them for generations. This curse appeared to target the male members of the family, causing them to die young, often under unusual or violent circumstances. The origin of the Lee family curse is said to trace back to ancient China. The family had some important ancestors, including military leaders who angered powerful people. One well-known story suggests the curse started when a sorcerer, seeking revenge, cursed a general named Li Yuan during the Tang dynasty. Li Yuan had sided with the emperor against rebels, which angered a sorcerer who supported the rebels. On his deathbed, the sorcerer declared that Li Yuan's descendants would be doomed to die young. But that's not all. The curse might go back even further to the Song dynasty. Another ancestor of the Li family betrayed the emperor by joining forces with invading armies. In retaliation, the emperor's sorcerer cursed his descendants to die by fire or metal. Many doubt what really caused Bruce Lee's death as another family tragedy emerges. A curse revealed. Whether you believe these stories or not, there's no denying that the Lee family experienced a lot of tragedy. Bruce's parents were convinced the curse was real, especially after the strange death of their first son. To protect him, they dressed him as a girl, and even pierced his ears when he was born, hoping to fool any spirits targeting the males in their family. This fear of the curse had a deep impact on them. Even his original name, John Fan, meaning return again, was avoided by his parents, who were afraid that using it might invite the curse to take their son permanently. As he got older, his parents turned to fortune tellers, looking for insights into his future. These mystics told them that he would achieve great success, but also warned that his life would be short and filled with danger. The idea that a curse hung over everything was always there. This belief seemed even more real when he tragically died at just 32, nearly reaching the age of 33, which many believe brought bad luck. His death was caused by severe brain swelling, the same condition that took his grandfather's life. This eerie similarity made people believe even more in the curse, especially after his son, Brandon, died in a tragic accident on the set of The Crow at just 28 years old. The ongoing tragedies in the Lee family were hard to ignore. He passed away on July 20th, 1973, the hottest day of the year, with temperatures soaring to 93 degrees Fahrenheit. Even more strange was that he died during the hour and year of the dragon, his zodiac sign. These coincidences added to the belief that something darker was at play. His wife, Linda, believed he had a sense that something bad was going to happen. She said he had a disturbing dream about his death just days before it happened, and he shared it with her, clearly worried. There was also talk of a demonic presence, because he often mentioned feeling haunted by something evil.
They do the shot, and then he drops down, and everybody waits for him to get up, and he didn't get up.
This struggle seemed to show up in his movies, like The Way of the Dragon and The Unfinished Game of Death. In The Way of the Dragon, there's a famous scene where he performs extraordinary, almost supernatural moves against a colorful backdrop. Some people think this symbolized his fight with the demon he believed was after him. All these strange and tragic events, his age at death, the important dates and times, the movie scenes, and his dream, fed into the belief that a curse was real. But his untimely death wasn't the end of it. The idea of the curse grew stronger when his son, Brandon, also died young. Brandon was fatally shot by a prop gun on the set of The Crow in 1993, at only 28 years old. The similarities between their deaths, both involving accidents related to filming, were too striking to ignore. What made things even more unsettling was that Brandon died just before the release of Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, a movie that showed him fighting a supernatural force that also threatened his son. This added another eerie layer to their tragic stories. These events kept the belief in a family curse alive, leaving many to wonder how such heartbreaking misfortune could strike both father and son in such similar, violent ways. The tragic deaths of him and his son Brandon are hard to understand, leading some to believe that dark, mysterious forces might have been involved. The strange events surrounding their deaths make it seem as if something unseen and harmful was at work. Many people think there is a curse on the Lee family, a shadow that continues to bring sadness to their history. This idea of a curse has roots in old stories and legends, making it even harder for the family to escape this tragic belief. History repeats itself with Brandon's tragic day on a movie set, deepening the Lee family's sorrow. The tragic legacy of the Lee family. Now let's look at the tragic accident that took Brandon Lee's life, the only son who could carry on Bruce Lee's incredible legacy. Tragedy seems to run deep in the Lee family. A film icon who became a legend, Bruce died at a young age. His son Brandon also met an untimely death while filming a movie. On March 31st, 1993, 28-year-old Brandon was fully immersed in shooting The Crow, a dark movie inspired by comic books. The story is about a man who comes back to life with supernatural powers to get revenge for his and his fiancee's eliminate. This film was different from the usual martial arts movies, but connected to the deep and thoughtful themes he had explored in his later years. Brandon was deeply committed to this moody, intense movie. As the lead actor and a loyal fan of his father, he wanted to honor his legacy by delivering authentic action scenes, not just going through the motions. During a scene where Brandon's character was supposed to be shot dead by criminals, something went terribly wrong. The prop gun, which should have only had harmless blanks, had a dummy cartridge stuck in the barrel. When the gun was fired, this cartridge acted like a real bullet, hitting Brandon in the stomach and causing severe injuries. But this wasn't the worst part. The pain Brandon must have felt was beyond imagination, like an explosion tearing through his body. As the accident happened, the dark movie set turned into a real-life nightmare.
Eric's got a chance to personally not only get revenge, but hopefully also get a reward for it and be with Shelley again.
With blood everywhere. Brandon's body shook violently as the crew desperately called for help, but the injuries were too serious. He endured painful hours in surgery, but sadly died later that night. The grief and shock that Brandon's family, fiancé, and friends must have felt are hard to imagine. Their lives were shattered by this sudden and violent tragedy. They were left to mourn a life taken far too soon, in a way that eerily echoed the very movie sets where his father had once thrived. The cruel hand of fate seemed to be at work again, repeating the same tragic story that haunted his father, now affecting his son. For Shannon, Brandon's sister, the recent loss brought back painful memories from their childhood. Both she and Brandon had admired their father deeply when they were kids, and his death had left them with emotional scars. Now, as she grieved another family member, those old wounds were reopened. Brandon's former brother-in-law and martial arts mentor, Chuck Norris, was also heartbroken. At Brandon's funeral, Chuck expressed his sorrow, saying it felt like he had lost two sons, first his father and now Brandon. His pain was clear in his tired face and tearful eyes. But this wasn't the worst part. The situation was made even more difficult by a tough legal battle over the cause of Brandon's death, filled with accusations and claims of negligence. The family was struggling to come to terms with this heartbreaking situation. Even with the sadness and ongoing legal issues, what hurt even more was thinking about Brandon's unfulfilled potential. At just 28 years old, he was a skilled martial artist and actor, ready to not only honor his father's legacy, but also carve out his own path.
Being 4 when my father died, you don't really understand the impact it has on your life. Being in your 20s when something like that happens is much different. I was very close to Brandon, and so it was very difficult and so shocking.
Brandon had already begun to make a name for himself with several successful films, showing his dedication and talent. From the lesser-known Rapid Fire to the action-packed Showdown in Little Tokyo, he always delivered strong performances. It was clear that Brandon was on the verge of breaking through in the film industry, poised to build a reputation apart from his father's shadow. But his life was tragically cut short, leaving his potential unfulfilled. The loss of such a promising martial arts star was sudden and deeply felt, dimming a bright light too soon and leaving a lasting impact on the Lee family. But this isn't just a story about loss. It's also about how unexpected moments can change lives. During the filming of Enter the Dragon, another tale began to unfold, one that would shape the future of Jackie Chan. At the time, Chan was a young and relatively unknown stuntman, just starting his journey in cinema. Working on the same set as Bruce, who was a groundbreaking figure in martial arts films, was both inspiring and overwhelming for Chan. His performances were electrifying, and his presence was powerful. But little did Chan know, this seemingly ordinary day of filming would become a turning point, leading him to an extraordinary career in action movies. It was a moment that showed how a single encounter can open the door to an incredible path. While tragedy surrounds them, a kind act on a movie set sparks Jackie Chan's rise, showing that small moments can change lives. Bruce Lee's compassionate kick. It was going to be a big moment. Bruce Lee never used tricks or special effects. Every move he made was real. As the cameras started rolling, it was like a storm of punches and kicks came to life. The fight scenes were perfectly timed, like a powerful dance that left every stuntman breathless. But then, something unexpected happened. A small mistake in timing, just a brief moment of lost focus, and suddenly Jackie Chan felt the full force of a real kick. It wasn't just a light tap, it was a strong hit that sent shockwaves through Jackie's body. As he fell to the ground, his mind raced. He had just been kicked into the future, so to speak. Jackie expected him to brush it off and keep going. After all, to him, Jackie was just another stuntman, but that's not what happened. Instead, he rushed over, clearly worried. He helped Jackie up, apologizing repeatedly and checking to make sure he wasn't seriously hurt. For Jackie, who admired him greatly, this simple act of kindness was incredibly touching. It showed him that the world's greatest martial artist cared deeply about the people around him, even those who were unknown like Jackie. This went against the tough, no-nonsense image most people had of him. From that moment on, Jackie saw him in a different light. He was not just a brilliant martial artist and actor, he was also a kind and humble person who respected others, especially those he worked with. In the years that followed, Jackie never forgot that powerful kick. As he moved from being just a stuntman to becoming a star himself, he tried to live up to his standards of ethics and hard work. Like his idol, Jackie decided to do all his own stunts rather than use a double. He wanted to be known for the same kind of honesty and realism that he was famous for. There was no faking it for the camera. If you saw Jackie kicking or flipping in a movie, it was really him, taking the risk himself.
If the cameraman can push me, I'm safe. But the cameraman just pick up the camera, they run away.
But this wasn't the only way Jackie and he were similar. Jackie Chan found inspiration in him, not just for his amazing martial arts skills, but for his charm and wit too. Jackie realized that impressive fight scenes alone wouldn't keep people hooked. They needed a charismatic personality as well. Over time, he developed his unique style by mixing thrilling stunts with sharp humor. Movies like Rumble in the Bronx and Rush Hour had audiences worldwide both laughing and amazed at his daring actions. As Jackie rose to fame in the world of action movies, he never forgot a significant moment with him. During a film shoot, with a simple apology, he helped Jackie up after a fall. This small act of kindness from such a big star taught Jackie to stay humble, no matter how famous he became. Though their time together was brief, the lessons were deep and lasting. Jackie learned that no matter how successful you are, it's important to stay grounded and appreciate those who help you along the way. But that wasn't the only lesson Jackie took to heart. Like him, Jackie made it a point to build strong relationships with his stunt crew and team members. When he unexpectedly passed away in 1973 at just 32 years old, it shocked Jackie and the entire world. Jackie saw in him the kind of future he wanted for himself, a global martial arts icon who not only entertained, but also promoted East Asian culture and cinema to the world. Both of them shared the goal of showcasing their cultural heritage through martial arts on an international stage. As Jackie became a well-known action star, he never forgot the influence he had on his life and career. What are your thoughts on how Jackie Chan continued Bruce Lee's legacy? Like, comment, and subscribe for more.